Working with you guys in 2011. I was figuring it up as I was driving over here tonight. I think we've got 11, 1, 7, 5, 1, and Max, you're finishing your 11th year of service on the council. If I did my math right, that's like 36 years of service amongst the 6 of us on the council, which is really pretty strong given that we've got 2 people finishing their first year. I've been reflecting a lot on the year, and first of all, I want to say thank you. I understand that last agenda item was controversial, and I very much appreciate that we were able to have a dialogue on it that didn't get personal. We were able to stay focused on the issue, and I hope that we can do more of that in 2011. I think that's good government. Whether we agree or disagree, I think it's good government. I've been doing a lot of reflecting back on this year, and this is the end of my 5th year on the council, and quite honestly, this has probably been the most difficult year that I've had. And I've been wondering why. We've got 2 new council persons, we've got a new mayor, we've had transition before. I think a lot of it is with the way we do our meetings. I appreciate the changes that we've made to the council meetings. I think the format is good. I like the public comments at the end. I like the fact that we've taken them off of television. I think we've toned down the meetings a lot, and I think we're a lot more concise. I like that meetings at the beginning of the council meeting are geared towards the agenda so that we don't listen to a half hour, 30 minutes, an hour of stuff that's not even on the agenda. And I don't know what it means to you guys, but it does help me keep focused, and I appreciate that. However, what I'm really missing is the council dialogue. And you may recall several months ago, I suggested that we have a workshop once a month where all we do is sit around a table and we just go around the table and talk about things that are important to us, talk to each other about things constituents are talking to about each other. And I know that there's a desire to maybe not have more workshops or whatever, but somehow we've got to figure it out. We've got to have more dialogue. Councilman Weaver did a memo here a week or so ago with a whole list of questions to the city administrator, and you know what? They were good questions. There was some stuff on there that I hadn't thought about for a while. I'm sure there were things on there that some of you guys hadn't thought about for a while. And each of us has those things that we're passionate about that maybe the others lose track of, and we don't have enough communication amongst ourselves. The agenda item that I had on there tonight probably would have been better in a workshop or better in a format other than being in front of television cameras where we're forced to make a decision. I would not be opposed to having council comments at the end of the council meeting. I don't know if they need to be televised or not, but somehow we have to come back together as a group and create a venue to where we can have good open dialogue with each other. We shouldn't have to come up to this podium at the end of a meeting to be able to stand here and communicate with each other, because even now we're not communicating. It's monologue. I'm talking to you and you guys are listening. We're not having dialogue. We need to get to a point where we're having dialogue. I hope we can do that in 2011. I think it's going to be a really tough year. I think January, February, and March are going to be pretty tough on us. It's going to be a tough budget cycle, but I think we all learned a lot last year. I know I did. I'm going to change the way I approach the budget this year. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'll be any less ornery, but I may be different in the way I communicate that orneriness. But despite our differences and despite the fact that from time to time we clash, I appreciate each and every one of you because you step forward and you're serving. And it takes a lot of guts to sit behind the table.
That is our Let you start your statement. Well, any citizens, Mayor, I'll be glad to
Any other citizens? Ms. Markwalter.
Bet you'll talk about the library.
In an indirect way, I will talk about the library. At the library, we have a history department, and we have a very good historian, Terry Harrison. And when I first came here, I moved to Old Farm Road, which is right above the Script Road, we call it, not Birch Drive, the Script Road. And the reason we call it the Script Road is because it was, script money was printed. It was a pre-WPA. It was a precursor to the WPA. So most people who live in Mason City know that. I knew that the first week that I lived in Mason City, and he made me copies of the script money, and it's really cool, and I have it in my house. And, Councilman Tornquist was talking about the planning and how it was maybe a little flat. You know, the goal setting was maybe a little flat. And maybe in reviewing Script Road, or Birch Drive, and its repair, perhaps we should review how it was funded originally. And maybe we could think outside the box and partially fund it the way it was originally done historically, where people were paid with script money and they could use that script money at businesses downtown. And unfortunately, they were paid, you know, not whole dollars. They were not reimbursed by whole dollars, but at least partial dollars were reimbursable based on the script money. And you know, maybe we could do some of that in order to bring it back to a manageable state or a little better state. And it might be a little kind of an interesting community project. If the community feels that passionately about it, perhaps they would get involved in it a little bit. I know I would be interested in it, and we at the library would certainly research it as best possible, you know, to give you the whole history and how it worked and how it was funded and who, you know, who paid for it and what businesses were involved in it, and even people, I'm sure Terry has pictures even of when it was constructed. But I grew up, you know, near a river town in Illinois. There are many river towns in Illinois and throughout the Midwest. And the river roads people usually are kind of passionate about, and they do get into disrepair, but people really like them, and they are pretty. They add a lot of character. And if you'd asked me 2 years ago about the Script Road, I would have been in favor of closing it. But now that I live along it, I really enjoy it, and I understand how people enjoy it. And I know people who live near it have different opinions about it, but I think most of the town really likes it. Everybody knows where it is. Most everybody knows the history of it, and it's a really nice asset for the community, as most little scenic river roads are, and park roads are. So that's my little 2 cents worth, and we'd be happy to do all kinds of research on that. And even if you're just kind of interested in it, and it's not going to be a policy or it's not going to be a plan, if you know, we'll be happy to do that, and just let us know, and we'll put that together. We'll probably do it anyway, just because we're interested in it now. So thank you.
I think say someone else stepping up to the deal, just to get down.
Come on, Tommy.
Well, that was beautiful. I mean, thinking that way. The way you all know about the history of the Script Road. You should put that in the paper, remind everybody what it was about.
Here we go.
That's a great idea. We got a lot of people unemployed. Maybe, I mean, I got guys out of work. Go out there and fill holes or grade or do something. I mean, think outside the box. I mean, I don't know. I just think that was a beautiful idea. Thank you.
Anybody, any other citizens?
Merry Christmas.
Can you do it from here?
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, like Scott said, Merry Christmas to everybody, and hope we have a good year. You know, Scott, you said something tonight so well, so good about comments and communication that I've been saying all year long. And look, you did it in one night. I think you hit a home run with it. It's just the difference between us. See, my style is pretty aggressive and rude. I understand that. I know who I am. Anyway, the Fosters. I read the minutes every month from the Mesa City EDC and their contacts and who they work with. Read their minutes closely. I don't know why they're not working with you. I don't know where that letter surfaced that we weren't working. Tom, you're part of the Papa John Center. They've endorsed you. The small businesses endorsed you. You're working with one of the accounting firms, and I don't know what the big deal is. I want to get a report back from Greg Gilman. We deserve it. And for whatever memo we got from our staff that said the council members said no to it, I don't. Are you guys asking the same questions I'm asking? Where did that come from? How'd that get printed up? So I hope we work with you. Secondly, lean and efficiency. Last year you guys talked about it. We passed it. It was a tough time. Like Scott's saying, I'm bringing it up tonight. Scott, I appreciate it. Lean and efficient. Well, it's here and it's alive. Well, this memo that I got here from Human Resource Department talks about, well, we're going to put a part-timer to work for 8 months while we fill some other positions. I hope we have some dialogue it looks like our budget time this year is pretty efficient. We're gonna roll right through it. And it looks like it's pretty good temporarily, what we heard in our goal setting session, things are looking pretty good. Well, I hope we talk about some of those positions. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't get it. Especially when I was told here that staff didn't have enough time to change 5 words in an ordinance. By the way, I talked to the guy that does the global positioning. Taking about 45 minutes to tell us what kind of trails we own and didn't own. The other thing is, the room's gotten smaller. Is that why we send only 2 people? I heard that too. You know, you jogged my memory. That was what we were told. Well, the rooms just don't accommodate all 2 people. Let's take control of our destiny too. It behooves the chamber that we go to Washington just as much as they're going. That they have the endorsement of the city or we have the endorsement of the chamber. You know what, 2, and by the way, what 2 are going? You guys got to talk about that. The other thing, council comments, I really do. I hope we bring them back. I hope we communicate more in this next year, and I hope the future councils do that too. The other thing I want to talk about is, help me out here. The cemetery board and the manager brought a revision to the hours in the ordinance. And here's what it said on 9/21/10. The intent of the revision is to add additional deterrents to people who are disrespectful of the cemetery grounds at night, not to prevent loved ones from visiting their family members. While it is dark at 6 o'clock during the winter months, it is also considered early evening hours when many people are out and about. The board understands this and has approved changing the hours of the cemeteries closed from 9 to 6 o'clock a.m. throughout the entire year, and we encourage the council to amend the revision of the ordinance to reflect the change. This will allow families to be in the cemetery from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. during the winter months as well as the warmer months of the year. Remember when we did that? I think Councilman Hickey started. Some emails we got that said, I go down Monroe and I want to be able to access it, so that they came back and said, we'll keep it up till 9. I got to tell you, ever since then, that gate's been locked at 4:30 every day on Monroe. I was under the impression that we were keeping that open from 9 p.m., closed from 9 p.m. to 6 all year round is what they decided. It's been closed at 4:30. I've been watching it for months. Nothing's changed. They close it up. I don't know who's closing it up, but it gets locked up at 4:30. That's not what we agreed with the cemetery board and the manager. I found out it's basically their call. 2, please, Mr. Trout, will you drive by the 10th Street entrance to the cemetery? And look what they've done there. That's another way to get into the cemetery. They've got barricades on both sides with construction lights, and you've got enough room for a car to get through, but not a snowplow, and cars aren't going through. It's just going to be a matter of time before a car gets forced into hitting the. You got to go see it. It's a huge liability issue for the city. I don't understand what they're doing. Like I said back then, their overall goal is to shut the cemetery off completely. Well, however roundabout way they're doing it is wrong. I want you to see that liability, or somebody take a photograph and share it with you. Maybe Mr. Stanger can have some of his people in the trucks do it. I don't get what they're doing there. It's closed off. That's not the message we received. They were supposed to do a brick job there, do some other amenities, and that gate was staying open. So I hope we look at that and check out the cemetery hours, because the gates are getting locked in Monroe. That person that talked to you, she can't get in the north. Remember how some of them said they got to drive all the way around? That gate has been locked every day and all weekend long at 4:30, and that's just wrong. And that's not what we agreed to here. So I'm not sure what their goal is. On the other side of things, okay, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.